Let's go back to Daniel. Daniel's original question: when I put the surcingle and martingale on my mule, he tends to just stand in a corner for 2 hours instead of moving around with that. He's asking what he should do different. His mouth is mostly quiet, but occasionally he'll play with the bit. His head isn't really low, but it's not naturally low either. He just stands there pretty quiet.
Okay, so all right, when it gets to that point where the in other words, it's not bothering them. The martingale and the bit is not bothering them. You know it's bothering them when their head is elevated and they're moving their mouth a lot. Okay, now it's not so much quote bother as it is what's this thing in my mouth and what can I do to be quiet or feel good about, and what can I do to feel good, because I want to be comfortable. Right now, I'm uncomfortable, and I'm going to move this bit around because normally I can control a bit, but right now I can't control this one. I'm trying to figure it out. We see that's it. With that martingale, with the string going through the bit, you're completely communicating with the bit, with the string. When the mule gets to where, hey, beautiful, good job. So when the mule gets to the point where he can start dropping his head and keeping his mouth quiet, then he can start moving around. Now, there are some mules, like this mule here, this gray mule, that's a very forward moving mule. Okay, notice how his neck comes up out of his shoulders. And if it wasn't for the rope halter on there, then his neck would come, he would have his head a lot higher. See, when you start out, you always start with the rope halter first because mules learn from their nose. Get that in your mind. So you have to do, there we are. We have to do the rope halter first. You know, hey, the other day, that new president of ours was had a commercial on our program as well. It's pretty cool. Anyway, so here's the deal. A lot of mules are forward moving. They want to go. Okay, then you get some of them. Hey, laid back, kick back. And I just soon sit in the corner and be good. Well, that's okay. All right, now let's get going. When they get to that point, you can take and start moving them around. I like to always go clockwise first. Why is that? It's the right brain. What's so important about that? Because the right brain usually has less done to it than the left brain. So left brain over here, right brain over here. Okay, looking from the back of the mule, right side, left side, off side, near side. Okay, so as you get your vocabulary correct, your terminology more correct, you're not going to be saying right or left. You're going to be saying off or near. So let's go on. So as the mule is going, I like to work on the right hand side, off side, so that I can actually teach the mule more there because less people have done less things there. The mule don't have any bother. He's not learning anything bad over there because what do? We bridle on the left hand side. We saddle from the left hand side. Listen, you need to bridle and saddle both sides. You need to do it both sides. So let's go on. Let's go back to this mule. Now that we see that he's comfortable and not worried about the bit, he's not chomping or anything like that. Now we'll move him around. So as we're moving him around, we're going to use our gait that we get in and out of. We're going to use it as our point of counting. So as we go around clockwise, we come by the gate and we see where his head is. If his head is up and his nose is sticking out, he's still worried and doesn't have the idea of when I move, I have to drop my head, get my nose on the vertical, and then I know that that way I'm telling my herd leader, Daniel, that I am comfortable with the bit moving. Understand, folks, just because they're comfortable with the bit standing still doesn't mean they're comfortable with the bit moving. So how do we know? Again, we know they're uncomfortable, but the head's up, nose sticking out. So as he's moving around, I'm looking for 3 changes. Come around by the gate, I see where the head is. I come around by the gate again, I can see that the head has dropped a little bit. So I'm going to count that as 1. As I see him coming around again, come around the gate, he comes around, I see the head is still the same place. So I'm going to keep right on going. Don't go make another circle. Oh, now I see the head has dropped down a little bit. All right, so I'm going to take that as 1. As I see him come around, I'm going to take that, pardon me, I'm going to take that one as 2. I see him coming around, and I see him come around, and he drops his head a little bit more. That's 3. I'm done for the day. Okay? Now, I don't care if he walks. I don't care if he trots. Is it better off he walks? Yes, he is. But a lot of times when they're bothered, they will tend to trot. That's okay. Let him trot. Okay? Let him trot. He's the one who made that choice. So if he wants to trot, you're going to keep on going with him, making him go, making him go, making him go. Okay? When he starts to get into walking, now we can start counting. Okay? We have to count when they're walking to start with. When they're trotting, they're bothered and they're not willing to learn. So get that in your mind. Now, once I got 3 good to the right, and I go 3 good to the left, and that good is going to depend on you as to what you're saying to yourself. I like the way the mule makes the changes. Remember, you never go past the number 2 mark if you don't see an improvement from number 1. If you go number 3 again, now we're starting to build a foundation, you see? And when we change, go the opposite way around, the mule says, oh, okay, that's what I have to do to get a split second of rest, which is what he gets. A few seconds of rest. He turns and then goes counterclockwise. So you got the idea? Now, let's say we're going along good and we get our 3, 6, 9, 12 doing good. And so, okay, now let's go ahead and let's up the ante a little bit. Let's take some grocery bags, tie some baling twine to them, stuff them down in your pocket, 1 on each side, tie it to the surcingle. When you got it tied to the surcingle, the bags are still in your pockets, and you step back, the string is going to pull the bags out. And all of a sudden, a monster is going to be out there. And the mule is going to see that, and he's going to take off. Well, good. Let him take off, because here's the key thing. When he takes off, what does he do? He hits that halter. And when he hits that halter, what happens? It makes him uncomfortable. Same thing as you progress into the martingale. Always remember, don't just go to the martingale. Mules learn from the nose. So you start from a just a rope halter and work your way to just a rope halter and the martingale, and then from the martingale and the rope halter to just the martingale, and eventually to your finished bit. Always remember that just because you've used a surcingle a few times don't mean you're done. You're going to be using that surcingle as a tune-up feature for the rest of that mule's life. That surcingle, that adjusted rope halter, and that mule rider's martingale are the best tools to keep your mule tuned up and keep him thinking, okay? Now, in that martingale, you're going to ride outside with it. You're going to be on the side of a mountain too as well. So there's the long and short of it.